The time for the healing of the wounds has come. The moment to bridge the chasms that divide us has come. The time to build is upon us.
Given this community and how segregated it is and what it's gone through, we were on board with bringing the Mandela exhibit here. And then George Floyd happened. And I thought, this is just the right exhibit for us to be showing now, to really have some discussions about what's going on in this country and in this community.
It is incumbent upon cultural institutions to actually evolve into being more of a convener of these social conversations, to create this comprehensive programming that ultimately promotes social justice.
Milwaukee, I think, is a perfect case study about why it's so important to continue on with the message and the values that Nelson Mandela held so dearly. We're the worst place in the country to raise a black child. We're the worst place in the country for the achievement gap between black students and white students. We have some of the worst rates in the country for home ownership for African Americans and people of color.
These things are only going to get worse if people continue to throw their hands up and say that this is somebody else's problem. So it's important, as a leader, you step right into it when things aren't popular.
South Africa is a country of many races. There is room for all the various races in this country.
Putting your career on the line because you want to do the right thing, because the right thing needs to happen. And that is a bold style that Nelson Mandela used to advocate against an unfair and an unjust system.
Apartheid in South Africa was a system of keeping people from doing anything to advance themselves and to keep them at bay. The indigenous Africans there were never enslaved physically. They were enslaved socially and economically.
The impact of apartheid would take probably generations to get through. You cannot change the situation until you change the economic opportunities for people, until you deal with the trauma that came as a result of the apartheid.
You had a system of oppression, especially in black people, decades, that plays a role today. It's very similar, if you think about it, to Milwaukee. And we need to use Mandela's wisdom to bring opportunities to a community that's been left out.
We have to fight for equity today. We have to dismantle systems that are leaving people behind. Nelson Mandela was born free, but he was so convicted in his values that he fought for the freedom of others. He so loved his people that he sacrificed his own freedom for 27 years to fight for equitable South Africa. I think we can heed that example, even here in Milwaukee.
The work around social justice is life work. And we're all going to have to roll up our sleeves and work on this over a long period of time. And we have to stay persistent and continue to try to make a difference.
Nelson Mandela fought. He desired better. He knew oppression firsthand. And when it was all said and done, it wasn't about revenge. It was about reconciliation and about love.
In very divided communities and in a divided nation, maybe we have to realize that we don't always have to prevail, and that we can extend grace to one another if we really want to build something together.
Today marks the dawn of our freedom.
What going through this exhibit should show, especially young people, is don't give up. Things can change. Just keep focused on the dream and it can happen.
The youth community has always been a very powerful part of any movement. And it's time for us to pass some of these batons. It's time for us to think about who are the next leaders, who are the next voices, and support them right now.
We want to raise individuals that believe in community, that believe in human rights, that believe in equity for all, that believe that people are much more than their skin color.
You should have what you want and fight for what you want. Our young people should feel that.
One person can't change everything, but you have to start with one. And I think that this can be a catalyst for a real sea change.
It may take some patience, it may take some time, but everybody can be a part of the solution.
We can always gather and garner things from other people's experiences and say, what can I do better?
How can we live our lives in a way that says to people, without saying it, I see you? That's an action that we could all take, inspired by this whole story of freedom and promise in South Africa.
Nelson Mandela was only a man that was just convicted in his principles. Any one of our visitors could be Nelson Mandela. And I hope after visiting the exhibit, they are inspired to be just that.
Let freedom reign. God bless Africa.